I'm Fawn Annan, CEO at ITWC and producer of President to President. Well, welcome to our latest episode where I recently sat down with Claude Reeves, the new VP and country manager at VMware. Well, earlier in 2021, Claude made a big, hard decision to leave Red Hat Canada from his executive post to head up VMware Canada. A very tough decision indeed, as both are great companies. Claude's career has had a laser focus on enterprise software, including running through the software's numerous transitions and transformative impacts on business. So what remains constant is the leadership pillars Claude brings with him. There's an emphasis on excellent communication with team, gender diversity and inclusion, coaching alongside mentorship, and working closely with communities of interest. The common thread in Claude's attraction to taking on this new opportunity is a story of transformation, a theme that runs strongly throughout this insightful interview. Claude walks us through his journey and VMware's plans for helping customers on their journeys, as well as educating the market on VMware's vision of multi-cloud and modern apps. Enjoy the insights. Hi, Claude. Thank you for joining me.
It's great to be here, Fawn.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's been so long since I've seen you. So you're 6 months into your new job. How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. The people are great. The company's great. Customers have been very receptive to the change and just to what we're trying to do. So it was a great decision. I'm very happy to be here.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you're trying to do? Is it something new?
Well, I think it's VMware is in a transformation like a lot of companies, right? So people look at us as an infrastructure play. The great bulk of workloads and data centers still run on us. Well, that's not the future. The future is cloud. The future is apps, all these things. We acquired Pivotal a few years ago. We have our Horizon and our whole digital workspace. We have security. So what we're doing with customers now is letting them know who we are today and how we can help them on their journey. And that's just fun. That's one of the big reasons I came here.
You have 25 years of experience in the industry, and you played such a prominent role at Red Hat where we first met. What experience have you brought over and used, and what have you had to leave at the door with this new company?
Well, I think the experience that I gained at Red Hat that I think is valuable is going through change. Red Hat was a Linux company, and then it became a cloud company. And also cultural, really learning to work with people in new ways. Red Hat has a great culture, and VMware has a great culture, and that's one of the things that attracted me. So that ability to go through change, to manage through it, to not get bogged down by the risks, not get bogged down by, there's so much to do. I was able to just come in and say, okay, this is where we are in our journey. Let's keep going. I've always been in software, always in enterprise software. So I did the client server transition. I did the first into web applications transitions with software companies and the cloud transition with Red Hat. And now with VMware going on that journey even more. So I think that's probably the biggest thing I brought to the table is just having gone through a lot of transformations in my career. What did I leave at the door? I think just preconceptions. I came in and I made a very, very clear decision that, I'm going to come in and just embrace VMware for what it is today and what it wants to be, and just leave the baggage behind. Enjoy the ride, bring what you can, bring value to the role. And that's really, I think that's how I approach it.
When you started at VMware as country manager, you started at really the height of the pandemic, which is daunting, of itself. What sort of tough decisions did that lead you to? Because everybody's in flux right now.
I really went through what a lot of the people I've hired over the last couple of years have gone through, right? I'm actually going to work for a company that I've never actually seen someone physically, right? And so there was that, but I had to come in and get a feel for how VMware had gone through that journey. What was the feel of the team? Where were they psychologically? All that sort of thing. And I knew VMware was an exceptional company. It took care. We have epic value, a whole model around being a good place for the people who work here. So my big learning out of COVID was a lot of listening over the last year and a half. Listen to how people feel, ask questions, get a feel for really, where they are, where the organization is.
I know, and I've heard that you've really thrived through the pandemic, by really putting out innovation. Do you see that being sustainable?
Yeah, in a different way, though. We're in the business of helping make employees more productive at home, right? We have our whole end user computing, our whole workspace portfolio. Applications needed to be updated, all that. So we had a lot of good things to offer during that period where people really needed to make things happen in a hurry. Now customers have changed the way they look at the evolution of their infrastructure, the evolution of their journey to the cloud. And there's also an understanding that this idea of agility isn't a nice to have. It's core to what you need to be now. Companies who had really thought about agility more deeply, they were well positioned for the pandemic. That's not why they did it, but they were well positioned. Organizations that had other priorities were like, oh, that's important. The pandemic was really about meeting the need that the customers had right then. Now we're really in discussions with our customers. Hey, we've learned a lot of lessons over the last 18 months. VMware has, our customers have, other vendors have. Now let's talk about what the future now looks like, because it doesn't look like it did 2 years ago. Organizations are much more open-minded about their journey ahead than they were 24 months ago.
Yeah, they're certainly embracing change better than they would have 24 months ago. I totally agree with that. So I'm going to talk about social responsibility. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to ask you, what causes do you personally support or organizations that's dear to your heart?
Well, as you know, I'm very big on gender diversity and diversity in our industry in particular, but at a broader scale. So that has not changed. I have young kids, so a lot of it's about coaching. A lot of it's more personal. So I think my big one is diversity. And beyond that, it's engaging with my kids, making sure I'm part of my community, helping where I can. I definitely like contributing to organizations like Médecins Sans Frontières and those organizations, because to me, the organizations that I really respect worldwide tend to be the ones that are there when the things go the worst, right?
Right.
And it's easy to, it's easy to say, oh, it's too dangerous. But you know what? There's organizations that are like, no, it's not. We're in. So I'm big on them.
That's good. So talk to me about your work-life balance, because, being in your position, that can take up 24 plus hours if you let it.
Yeah, it takes a long time, like especially the move. I think once you're in a role or you're in a company for a while, you get into a rhythm. So coming to VMware, that was one of my worries, but it's rewarding. And so now I'm getting into a rhythm again. And I actually find I'm able to create a better work-life balance when I travel a little bit more, because there's a lot of downtime when I travel where I catch up on things. Yeah, so the balance is getting there again. It's getting there. And for the team, it's a huge thing that I talk about with the team all the time, right? Whenever I sense someone's work-life balance is out of whack, talk about it. Make sure some people don't even know that their work-life balance is out of kilter.
You mentioned coaching earlier on. Is that one of your passions?
It is. There's coachable moments, and the key thing is be aware of the moment when it comes, and either note that, hey, I'm going to follow up with that person later on, or use that moment to have a conversation about something. So I'm very big on coaching, on mentoring. There's some initiatives that we're working on at VMware. VMware has a great mentoring program that I'm actually learning from. And there's people that I coach and mentor outside of VMware, just people I've known over the years that reach out to me and we have conversations. And there's people I reach out to, and have conversations. So,
did you have a mentor rising through the ranks?
I've had a few over the years, right? I've had a few people that, I've had one formal mentor earlier in my career, in my 30s, when I was really doing a lot of things and learning a lot of things. It was a little when your career has so many paths to it, and you're like, well, what do I do? And at Red Hat, there was some very, very good people I depended on for their advice. And there's others in the industry, and even outside of the industry. There's a few friends I have that have gone on completely different paths that I bounce things off them regularly.
So tell us, what is the most important lesson or lessons you've learned in your career to date?
One is, don't let your emotions drive business decisions and drive business relationships. You know what? Everybody's doing their thing. Everyone's trying to get by. Everyone's trying to pay their mortgage. Just relax a little. I'm in sales. It can be an emotional roller coaster in sales. And what I've learned and what I try and really communicate is smooth it out. Don't do the roller coaster. It's a long career. There's a lot of ups and downs. Smooth it out a little bit. You're going to be less stressed. You're going to enjoy your job more. You're going to have a better work-life balance. So that's a big one for me. The second one is really just remember what's important. The important things of your role, of your value that you're bringing to the company. You keep centered on those. The urgent will always be there, and yes, you have to deal with it. But make sure the important is there day in, day out, and you keep moving forward on the important. Like even at the beginning of COVID, important went out the window. You just were reacting for months. But after a while, you got to get back to the important things. Those two always anchor me. I'm always like, okay, slow down a little bit. Don't let it get to you, and make sure you're focused on the important and you're not just chasing fire engines, right?
Oh, that's great. First of all, great insights, but great advice. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our audience with?
No, actually, just, I wish everyone the best and be safe. And I know even for me personally, this next wave it feels heavy. So I'm just trying to work through it and be positive and take care of your family and all that sort of stuff. So I wish that for everybody.
Thanks a lot, Claude.
All right. You have a great day, Fawn.
Thank you.